Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. This week I am in my 12th week of pregnancy, and I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and film another pregnancy update. The last time I've done one is when I was 7 weeks, so very early, still very early, but it's been like 4 to 5 weeks since I've done one. And I said last time, hopefully we'll be in our new house with our next pregnancy update, and we are, as you guys know, and as you guys can tell. We are in our new house, and I thought it'd be the perfect time to sit down. I feel like I've got so much to talk about. I'm gonna try not to make this super long, so I'm just gonna kind of get straight to the point and just kind of like how the pregnancy's been up these past like 4 weeks. Also the time of day, and we don't have the blinds yet in here. You can tell there's like a big glare, but I had to go ahead and get this done. So I have been feeling so much better than I think I updated in the last, I can't remember what all, I should have watched that pregnancy update to kind of see the difference between then and now. But I have been feeling really good, and I have not had any nausea. Just, I will get it if I go like a few hours without a little something on my stomach, but no nausea. The crazy thing about this pregnancy versus my last 3 pregnancies is I have not had to take one single one day of nausea medicine at all, which is so crazy because I'm usually very sick and nothing helps except for medicine that the doctor prescribes me. And I have not had to take one single, I've had some nausea, especially early on. I did have nausea, but it wasn't to the point where I needed medicine for it. And so, you know, a lot of people say like different genders, you feel different ways. So who knows? I really don't know. We'll see. So as far as nausea, I get it every once in a while, especially if I don't eat for a few hours. If I just need a little to keep something on my stomach, even just something small. So that's one crazy thing. I still can't get over that. I haven't had to take nausea medicine at all. The next thing is food aversions. My food aversions for a few weeks were so bad, and if I thought of any type of food, it made me feel so sick to think about it. Not only did I feel like there was only a few certain things that I could eat at all, but just thinking of certain foods were so bad. But here lately, a lot of things don't sound good, but I have been eating a lot more things. Chicken for a long time, for a few weeks, the thought of chicken sounded gross, and I have been eating a little bit more of that. So the food aversions have been a lot better. I guess I should go into the size of baby this week. I normally use the Ovia app. I used that with my last pregnancy with Millie, and baby is the size of a ripe apricot this week. Something else I've been experiencing is heartburn, and it's not every day, but I feel like, I can't remember last time when heartburn started, but I feel like it started pretty early this time. I just take Tums, and that'll kind of knock it out at this point. I'm sure it'll probably get worse, but it's not every day. It's just some days I'll have it, and it don't last for long as I take some Tums or something. But I feel like it started pretty early, the heartburn this time. Something else that sounds crazy to think about, and I don't necessarily know if this is what I'm feeling because I know baby is so small, and I don't want to say like I'm feeling movement, I can feel flutters, because it could really be gas. I've heard like you can feel gas bubbles or something. And I remember after I had Millie for several months, I felt phantom kicks for a long time. Like it felt like baby kicks was the craziest thing. Did any of you guys ever experience phantom kicks? But I've noticed this a couple of times over these past several days. Specifically last night, I was laying on the couch. I was laying down pretty flat. I had my head on a pillow and pretty low, like where baby is, where we find the heartbeat and everything. I felt flutters 3 or 4 times. And I'm not saying that's what it is because I know baby is so small. And I was like, what in the world? Like I know I'm so early to feel that. So I was like, let me go on Google and just kind of see. And as early as 12 weeks, they say you could possibly start feeling flutters, especially if you've had more than one child. If you're super thin, which I'm not, but I have had more than one child, more than one pregnancy. So I'm not saying that's what it is, but it feels like it. But then again, it could be something different. So I did have a doctor's appointment this week. And I also wanted to talk about the scare that we had a few days ago. It was Sunday, like midday. I was thinking that morning, I need to get my Doppler out. It had been probably a week before I tried to find the heartbeat and got my Doppler out to listen for baby. And I got to thinking, I need to do that, but I didn't get it out that morning. So we actually had lunch at a family member's house, and I went to the bathroom when I was there, and I had quite a bit of bleeding, and I was super worried, obviously. I think I've mentioned before, I've had a little, like the tiniest bit of spotting every once in a while. But it's been like barely anything and nothing that I've been super concerned about. I've mentioned it to my doctor, and you know, obviously we've been careful about that, but this time on Sunday, it was a lot more. It wasn't like super heavy, but it was a lot more bleeding than I've had. My kids are outside playing. I can see them out the window with Ethan. But it was a lot more than I've had at all through this pregnancy. And I was so upset. I wasn't at home, but I was just thinking, is there something wrong with the baby? I was thinking, you know, I was gonna get my Doppler out this morning and I didn't. Like, I just wanted to get home at that point, just to be able to get the Doppler out and listen to the heartbeat. And so we came home, I got the Doppler out, and pretty quickly after putting the Doppler on my belly, I heard it very, very quickly. I was able to hear the heartbeat, but I wasn't able to find it after that. But I knew, like, I was able to hear it very briefly. So about an hour, I laid down for a nap, tried to rest. About an hour or two later, I got back up and I got the Doppler out again, and I was able to hear it even better. So I wasn't too concerned at that point. I knew there was probably something going on with my body, but not concerned enough to call the doctor because I knew I had my 12-week appointment the next day. So I went to the appointment, and the doctor, I told him, you know, what was going on, and I said, you know, I was able to find the heartbeat yesterday and then again today with my Doppler, so I know that baby's okay. So he got his Doppler out. We weren't going to do an ultrasound initially. He said, let me listen for baby, and then he was going to do like an exam to kind of see like if there's anything going on with me. So he wasn't able to find the baby's heartbeat on his Doppler, so he said, let's just go to the ultrasound room. So got up, went to the ultrasound room, and immediately he put the ultrasound probe or whatever it's called on my belly, and we were able to see baby. He said, baby has a nice strong heartbeat. You could see baby kind of moving around. And we noticed that the placenta was laying over my cervix. I think it's called placenta previa. And the same thing happened with Delaney. At 13 weeks, I woke up one morning pretty heavily bleeding, and I just knew I was miscarrying with the amount of bleeding I had with her. Went to the hospital because it was so much, and it turns out I had placenta previa. The placenta was laying right over the cervix. Same thing this time, which is crazy that it's happened. The placenta is so low again, but it does resolve, and most of the time the placenta moves up. So hopefully by my next ultrasound appointment, the placenta will be moved up and it will kind of resolve on its own. That is what happened with Delaney's pregnancy. He also, last time he said, we're going to check for polyps, uterine, I think it's called uterine polyps or cervical polyps. He said, if you continue to have the spot, and he did check for that, and everything looked good on that end, which was a relief. So yes, I have placenta previa, and he said, you know, you could definitely experience a lot of bleeding with it. So I know kind of from here on out until the placenta moves up, I know to be on the lookout and not be too alarmed if I continue. He did put me on pelvic rest to just kind of, you know, be safe with it. But that was definitely a scare, and couldn't get home fast enough to listen to the baby on my Doppler. I am so thankful for that Doppler. I've had it since I was pregnant with Delaney, and I know a lot of people, some people don't like having one. I think it just depends on, you know, I understand both sides. I understand people, you know, it would, if you couldn't find the heartbeat, it would cause a scare. But for me, I've not been able to find the heartbeat sometimes, but I know, like, I'll try again later, or try again tomorrow, and it didn't alarm me. It's really, if I wouldn't have had that Doppler on Sunday, I would have probably been going to the hospital to make sure the baby was okay, because I was that concerned before I got home and was able to hear the heartbeat. Thankfully, everything was good. The next thing for my appointment that I wanted to talk about, y'all know that we lost quads. My water broke very early with them. That was my first pregnancy. So when I got pregnant with Delaney, my OB wanted to put me on hydroxyprogesterone, which can help prevent preterm labor. He just said, you know, with what happened to your first pregnancy, more than likely you just, you know, obviously you're pregnant with 4 babies. That was a lot on your body, but it won't hurt to just kind of make sure, you know, you don't go into preterm labor again, and do what we can to help with that. So with Delaney and with Millie, I was on hydroxyprogesterone until 36 weeks. I was on it between 16 and 36 weeks. It was a shot I got once a week, and it helps prevent preterm labor. So I talked to him, and I was able, and let me just back up a little bit. I was able to talk to him about that yesterday. With Delaney's pregnancy, I was induced at 37 weeks, and the day I went in for induction, I was already dilated to, I believe, a 5. And with Millie's pregnancy, I was also induced at 37 weeks for preeclampsia, and I was already dilated to a 4, or between a 4 and a 5. I can't remember. So even with those shots at 37 weeks, I was still dilated. I feel like a good bit to be 37 weeks. And, you know, I've always wondered, you know, we never know for sure, but I've always wondered, if I didn't have those shots, would I have went into labor even earlier and dilated a lot quicker? And so we talked about them yesterday at my appointment. I brought up, you know, I was on hydroxyprogesterone, the Makina shots. I think that's the brand name, is Makina. I said, you know, do you think we should go ahead and get that started and do that again this pregnancy? And he actually said that, I think, don't quote me on this, but he said that the FDA, I think is what he said, or studies have come out to show that it really don't help like they thought in the past. And so doctors don't recommend the shots like they used to, which I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I know I've heard so many success stories of women on the shots and having preterm labor, and then being on the shots with the next pregnancy and be able to go to term. So he said, you know, we could probably try to get you on them if you felt like, if you wanted to. He kind of left it up to me. He said insurance is not really paying for it like they were, which last time it was very expensive, even with insurance, but he said a lot of insurances are not paying for it at all. So we actually, he said, well, let's do this to give you a peace of mind and talk to someone that knows more about it than I do. He is sending me, I have an appointment next week. He's sending me to the maternal fetal medicine doctor, which is like a maternity, like I think technically a high risk specialist. I wouldn't say I'm high risk, but she or he, I think it's a she, I think it's a lady doctor that I'm seeing, will know more about that. And he said, you know, just kind of consult. You can kind of consult with them and kind of decide what they think, as far as you can tell, you know, obviously go over your history. Because I brought up to him yesterday, I said, you know, at 37 weeks with both of my pregnancies, I was dilated to a 5. And that's my only concern, is if I wasn't on those shots, would I have went into labor a lot earlier? And obviously I want to do anything I can to not have a preterm baby, especially having 3 other kids at home. We want a healthy baby. And obviously if we can do things to prevent preterm labor. So that's why we're going to the specialist, is to get their opinion on it. He said some doctors still believe that it works. Some maternal fetal doctors still put their patients on it because they believe it works. He just felt more comfortable me going to see one of those doctors to kind of get more about it and go over my history with them and kind of get the best course of action, whether they think we should do it or not do it this time. So that's kind of the reason we are going to the high-risk doctor next week. So I will update on that maybe next week at my appointment as to what they say. I'm curious as to what they'll say and like what we'll do this time. I have scheduled my next 2 appointments, which is my 16 and my 20-week appointment, which sounds crazy. I also scheduled my anatomy scan at 18 weeks, which will be the very end of November. And we are still thinking, we are not finding out the gender. As it gets closer, obviously, you never know. I'm not saying our minds won't change, but as of right now, I still do not want to find out the gender. Still want it to be a surprise and be team green and wait till delivery to find out. So that is our plan as of right now. Ethan's on board with it. So right now, that is our plan, is to still not find out the gender. So we'll see. I told Ethan, when I think of this baby, I think of a boy. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't have a good instinct with that. I didn't really with the other pregnancies either. But I don't know, something about this pregnancy makes me, when I think of it, I think of a baby boy. I could be totally wrong. And when we get to delivery, a baby girl will probably come out. But that's just kind of my instinct at this point. Who knows though. And before this video gets too long, I think that's all I really wanted to update thus far. I'm going to show you guys my 12-week belly. Figure out the best way to do this. This dress is not the most flattering dress, and I hope y'all can kind of see. But this, so far, this is my 12-week belly. It's kind of hard to see because the dress is so dark. Trying to show y'all a good view of that. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My next pregnancy update in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I think I'll do like a little pregnancy Q&A next time, so definitely make sure you're following me on there for when I ask, maybe for my 16-week appointment or something. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Give it a thumbs up if you're new to my channel. I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another video. Bye.